Hello friends and welcome to Board Game Spotlight. I'm Stephanie and my channel is Minimum Player Count, and today we will be looking at the Power Rangers deck building game. This is by Renegade Game Studios. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so we are going to go into Power Rangers by breaking it down into 5 steps. After those 5 steps, I will go into more detail about the specifics of the games to give you a little bit more information of how this game plays. So step number 1, you draw up to 5 cards in your hand. You do start out with 10 cards from your deck, but you draw up to 5. Step number 2, you play cards to gain energy or shards, or you can equip those cards to your character. Step number 3, use energy to activate equipped cards and or use shards to purchase cards or battle enemies. Step number 4 is you take damage from enemy cards left in the lineup of cards. And step number 5, you reset the card in the lineup, you draw back up to 5 cards, and then it's the next player's turn. Power Rangers is a game for 2 to 4 players. It is a 1v1 game, a 2v1 game, or a 2v2 game. When you start playing Power Rangers, you will choose which faction you will be a part of, either heroes or villains. After you have decided which faction you're a part of, you will also either decide on a special character or be dealt a character. Each character has different abilities, so make sure to pay attention to that. Also, they have special cards that are aligned with them that can give them extra bonuses. During play, you're able to purchase or battle cards from the lineup. If you do not battle the cards that are the enemy cards that are out in the lineup, you will then receive 1 unblockable damage per amount of enemy cards that are in the lineup. To battle the cards, you will use shards applicable to the card showing on the bottom left of saying how many shards that you will have to use to battle that card. Once you have battled it, it goes to the discard pile, and during step 5, you will refresh that lineup for the next player's turn. In order to win the game, the opposing team's HP will have to reach 0. Now let's talk about the Zord Bay and the layer. These are both very important to the faction that you choose, and I want to make sure that you completely understand them before we move on to final thoughts. Okay, so let's talk about the Zord Bay. The Zord Bay is specific to the heroes, and it gives them extra actions to do on their turn. Heroes are provided a stack of Zords that will be then put into the Zord Bay. The Zords have special abilities like healing or dealing damage, things like that. Each Zord costs 7 shards, but does not cost any energy to use once in the Zord Bay. Some Zord cards will say to discard them if blocked or things like that. It is applicable to each card. But one important thing to note is once you have used a Zord, you do have to pay 5 energy to reset the Zords that are in the Zord Bay. During the beginning of the Zord Bay, you are only able to use 1 Zord that is attached. When you have attached 5 cards, you are then able to get the Megazord, which allows you to use 3 cards attached. When you have attached 6 cards, then you're able to use the Mega Dragon Zord, which allows you to use up to 5 cards that are attached to the Zord. So the more cards that you have attached means the higher and stronger that your Zord Bay get. Now let's talk about the layer and the masters. Alright, so let's talk about the layer. The layer is very specific. It has, again, a stack of cards that you will purchase from with shards. The first master card that you buy has to be equipped to your character. After that, all subsequent master cards that are purchased get put into the layer. The layer works by any master that has been played into that layer and any masters that are currently out on the table deal damage to the hero team. Anytime you place a master into the layer, it triggers an attack, and that attack damage is worth the amount of masters that are currently out on the table. So the more masters that you get means the more damage that you can inflict to your enemy. So final thoughts for Power Rangers, the deck building game. This is actually a really fun game for 2 players. I enjoyed it as a battling game. I would like to play this as a 2v2 as well to see how the gameplay changes. It does have a lot of different aspects in deck building that you're able to manage and keep an eye on while playing this game. It was very difficult at first to kind of understand all the different mechanics of your person that you're playing with, because your person, the Zords, and also the enemy and what they're doing is very important to pay attention to while playing this game. But if you do like this preview of Power Rangers deck building game, please make sure to check it out. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.